Hello, hello. Thank you so much for your patience. For those of you who waited for me to come on live, and I am here. I'm so excited about tonight's topic. And right now, I'm just checking in with my Facebook folks uh, while I wait for people to come in, okay? Because I love to see who's commenting on Facebook. Hi, Liz. How are you? Okay, here we go. I have my two pages there open on Facebook. All right, and you might hear my son in the background who's sleeping. Or probably not. A lot of you tell me that you don't hear anything, which is really 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 good. Okay, and hi minors, thanks for joining as well. And all right, so very important topic. Every topic I discuss is always super unique and important to me. Oh, and hi Kimberly. And this one is the biggest of them all. And I was hoping, hi Renee, I was hoping I would have my website, the web link for the masterclass, but I will after this live is over. Come back, look for the link below. I'll be advertising in different places. Anyways, I have a free masterclass on the ego coming up. It will be a 90-day masterclass. Hi Renee. And as you know by now, the ego so destructive. The ego is not your, I want to say the ego is not your friend, but if you push the ego to the side and don't actually acknowledge what the ego is telling you, it's it's not going to help you in any way. Like if you hear anything that says you have to just get out of ego, be in soul, it's like what does that mean, and what exactly is getting out of it, and that kind of stuff, when the ego is really, it's a part of you, it's you, it's the stuff that's in your shadows that's showing itself and things like that. But the ego just loves to destroy. Loves to destroy. I remember I figured I'll share a story of myself with my ego. I mean, there are lots of it. There are tons of it. Okay, and you might relate in so many ways where you saw life through a trauma lens. You saw life through why are things happening to me, and being in that victim mindset. Everything is like it's me, it's coming for me, it's not happening for me, it's not here for me, no one understands, all this kind of stuff, right? This is all ego, ego, ego. And so I can remember when the universe came to me. This was years after leaving me alone with my twin flame, left me alone, and I was able to do different things in life and that kind of stuff. I remember being awakened 3 o'clock just about every single morning, guys. Every morning. I know some of you can relate with that, right? Being awakened, I would go to sleep 2 o'clock in the morning. I was sleeping late, open my eyes, and I'm like, do not tell me. It would either be 2:59, 3:01, 3 o'clock, anywhere near that. It didn't matter what time I went to sleep. That was a period in my life where the universe just kept waking me up. And then there was one time I heard, you're the one rejecting this connection. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, okay? Because I ran around for 2 years with that story that I chased and my twin ran, okay? 2 years. And then the universe was like, no, you're the one rejecting. I was like, I don't think so, okay? Until my eyes got open and I was able to see the signs where I did leave. And it became one of the most heartbreaking experiences that I had, because I was just like, I didn't see it. Okay. This is what the ego does, is that it makes it really hard for you to see what the truth actually is. And the ego stems from fear, whatever that fear may be. Fear of being rejected, fear of not being good enough, not anything that you heard about the world. Anything you learned about the world, about connection, about money, about yourself, all of this, okay? The ego stems from this particular place. I see a question. So you don't think the twin flame journey isn't demonic. Can you give some insights? Oh, no, it's not demonic at all. Although the demons do try, they do try to tear things up. And it's a real thing, guys. It's a real thing. Definitely clear your energy is super important to do that. And before we label it twin flame, I'll let you know that this is not twin flame. Okay. I know my hair is like off today, but I'm here. I'm connecting with you guys, right? I'm going to come back to this, okay? Because it is a real thing there and it's not twin flame related. It's just always been there. If you look at different religion, it's there. Different cultures, the idea of the demon is there and so forth. This didn't originate with twin flames. So going back to the ego, you know, when the ego presents itself, okay, when you find yourself saying a whole bunch of, oh, wait, let me back up. Let me back up because I want to help you understand the role of the ego. Okay. We we are conditioned to believe what we see. And the intuition is the unknown. The intuition, you can't see it. It'll tell you things. It'll say maybe your twin flame loves you, your reunion's on the way, money's here, whatever it is, okay? But you can't see it. The ego has to see it. This is how the ego, this is the drive, this is the fuel of the ego. It has to see it. And if it can't see it, if it can't see what the intuition is saying, then it has to jeopardize the situation in some kind of way. It's got to control it, manipulate it, um, with all these expectations and stuff, because that is visible. All right. It's like when the things the ego says, okay, uh, there is no money, I'm not good enough, or whatever the case, they're not coming, they're not here. I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. I knew they weren't going to do X, Y, and Z. All right. It's this idea of I can create the situation that I want. The ego is going to make the situation because that is familiar. That is what is known, what can be seen, and that kind of stuff. It is too much to believe the intuition. It's scary. You know, the intuition is the complete unknown, guys. Unknown. And what do I mean by that? If you find yourself saying, yes, I'm following my intuition, but where is it? I can't see it. All this is ego, right? Where is it? And I am following my intuition. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay. If you have to ask yourself, where is it? I need it right here, right now. You're not with your intuition. You're not in soul. Okay. Because your soul knows. Your soul knows everything. The universe supports you in every single way, whether you can see it or not. You know, sometimes you can see it. You'll see signs of something unfolding. Okay. You'll see messages. Perhaps your twin is coming in, but at a slow rate, but they came in. And this is a sign that you've entered reunion. But then this is what the ego does. Well, it's not fast enough. It's not done my way. Okay. The ego wants to be right. I wonder who can relate, right? The ego wants to be right. It needs to look like this. This person needs to show up like that. There is this, I need to see, like they need to be at my front door. They need to be taking me out. They got to, all of this kind of stuff the ego says, right? And in the process of that, it wrecks what the intuition is building, because the universe honors energy, vibration, this being in the flow. When your energy is in the flow, you're in the present moment, it's flowing. Everything you want comes to you faster. Okay? Because this is how the universe works. And it really doesn't matter. You gotta like get rid of I need to see it. There's this phrase that goes, walk by faith, not by sight. That's your journey right there. Walk by faith, not by sight. And I'm not saying that it's totally related to twin flame. I'm just going to do it to twin flame. We got to get out of putting so much on this one person who doesn't want all this responsibility. Everything that your ego wants to play out, they need to do this, they need to do that. Do they even want that? Do they even want that? Sometimes I would ask people when they say, I need to be loved a certain way. And if the person doesn't love me, I'm going somewhere else. Okay. And so then I ask, okay, how do they feel about that? What does love mean to them? And then this is usually when I get the question mark going, like, what are you talking about? Did you ask? Did you ask them? Because that's what the ego does, guys. My way or the highway. Okay. I need it to look like this. So I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting my emotions. I'm not going to give this person an opportunity to reject me. Instead, I'm going to do the rejection. So it does not happen. Okay. Because God forbid that I give them a chance to open up and say something and they tell me, I don't want to be with you. I don't agree with you. I can't handle that. I can't handle it. So I'm going to make up all these rules and how I want things to show up. And if I can't see it, granted, we haven't had a discussion, an actual full on discussion about this. If I can't see it, I'm out the door because I can't handle feeling rejected. Okay. There's the ego providing protection. I'm going to protect my heart rather than opening up and giving this person a chance to open up as well, whether it's in my favor or not. Okay. You got to get out of creating situations for other people. This is one of the, this to me, this is one of the number one reason people run. There are runners in this connection. It's the fear of opening up. If I say something, I'm going to get rejected. This person's going to leave me. They're not going to, and all this kind of stuff. Now, before we point the fingers at, runners, so-called runners, and things like that, it's there are ways you're running as well. I can open up about my feelings. I feel this connection. I feel what's going on. I'm having dreams and these synchronicities, they're appearing in different places. I can't talk about that because they're going to run, reject me, think I'm crazy, all this kind of stuff, right? All ego. That's all it does. It tells lies. Fear, ego, together, perfect combination of a whole bunch of lies. Okay. And I know when you're in that space, you're like, Sheen, I'm terrified. I know this is the grip of the ego, the fear, and that kind of stuff. It can have a really strong grip on you. Now, you might be like, okay, well, what do I do about this then? Because number one, when you get truly honest with yourself, take a moment and get truly honest with yourself. Like give yourself permission to start being honest with yourself. Because so many times you hold things down, you hold your emotions back, and you lie even to yourself. It's like you're hiding. You do so much hiding that you don't even know what your emotions are and that kind of stuff. This is the moment now for you to give yourself permission to feel your emotions and start being honest with yourself. Okay? Be honest about your feelings. Stop running away from them. It is okay. This is the stuff I teach. It is okay for you to have your feelings, all of them, no matter what they are, even the things the ego is showing you. Don't shove it down somewhere. Once you get to know the ego, you're like, I can't be an ego, all right? And it starts talking to you, it's coming out of you. You're like, I don't know. I'm not feeling good. This is awful. This whole situation, make it go away and all this kind of stuff, right? Then you tell yourself, I can't feel this. I'm not supposed to feel this. They tell me to be in soul, so I'm not going to feel this. Guess what happens? It's in you. it has nowhere to go. Whatever that belief the ego is showing you has nowhere to go. And it's going to come up again and again, and it's going to come up. And even if you're like, forget the twin flame, forget my twin flame, I'm moving on to someone else, it's going to show up there too. Okay, because somewhere in you there is this, they're going to abandon me, they're going to do this. There's all these stories that the ego wants to feed you is still there. Okay, you can't ignore it anymore. You can't ignore what your ego is telling you. It's not going to go away on its own by you doing that. All right, so I'm going to answer some questions. All right, is that ego or the devil confusing you? Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. I love it. I love it. Confusing you on a spirit manipulating you to control you. I will answer it, but hold on, hold on. This is a long talk right here. And I hope you guys can stay for it. If you can't catch the replay, this one is really good. How the devil plays in all of this. Yes, I have a huge fear of opening up. My twin flame came back in for a second, and now I've been thinking about how I can become a better at opening up. I'm terrified. This is healing that you have to do from within. Okay. What I teach is nervous system repair. Um, and hearing yourself, you've got to hear yourself. If you can't hear yourself, it doesn't get reflected back. Okay, it's like you don't listen to that voice inside of you, that voice that says, hey, I need something here, something isn't right. I'm not big on boundaries, but you can feel it. Okay, you have this feeling like something's off, and you have to speak up, or whatever the case. You start by hearing yourself first. Okay, repairing your nervous system, because that's the one that gets really worked up, and going for it. It's a whole step, but it starts with healing inside of you first. Anything I teach, it's not go out there and just do it. It doesn't work that way. You work inward, out, inside first and out. Okay, and I bet all of us here was dealing with a narcissistic guy. Snap out of it. They don't care. And it's all in your own head. We all probably got deep trauma from our parents. We really did. We really did. A lot of us did. I actually had this conversation with someone recently. And I was like, how is it that almost everyone can relate with some sort of story about our parents? Okay. How is that? Then it just made me feel like there's this wave of folks, there was a wave of generation that passed on to a wave of generation, and then we are that wave of generation who's making changes. And so whatever happened with these earlier folks, it was that the collective at that time. And now we're in this collective that's healing all of that. And this is really why so many of us can relate, right? Now, the narcissistic person was manifested. Okay. You dealt with a narcissistic person. This one was manifested into your life to assist you with healing whatever they were showing you, or whether it's how you felt about yourself, you hearing yourself, boundaries. I'll use it in this case. They were teaching you something. That's all they were doing. And once you learn the lesson, once you look within yourself, what do I need to learn from this connection? They go away, because that's the only purpose they serve, was to teach you that lesson. Now, so many of us go into it. We're not taught these things. Narcissistic person comes in our life. We think it's love. We know it's not love. You always know, guys. You always know, but you haven't yet trusted yourself. And at the time the person comes in, it's like, okay, I can fix this situation. This is from your childhood years, when your parents weren't listening to you, maybe they weren't giving you attention. And so this person comes in your life and you're like, I'm going to fix this. The problem is you're fixing it with the wrong person. That's something that needed to be fixed with your parents. Okay. And I'm not saying to call your parents and say, hey, you did this to me, but you do the healing inward, inside, not outside. Not trying to prove yourself in a connection like, I got this. They told me I'm not good enough. I'm going to prove it. This person I need the validation from this person that I am good enough. That's how that usually happens. The narcissistic person is manifested into your life. And the whole connection is a manifestation as well. Okay. That's a whole nother video right there. Somebody fight me because that's the only thing makes sense. Hello from Maryland and hi Heather. Nervous system repair that they destroyed. They did not destroy your nervous system. Okay. They didn't destroy your nervous system. It was destroyed. It was destroyed before that time. It was destroyed in trauma. For example, when you try to speak your truth when you were younger and you were told you're wrong, how dare you speak up? How dare you have a voice? Or I don't know, whatever the case is. So then it became too scary to speak up. It became too scary to show yourself who you really are. And it was a whole lot easier to hide yourself and walk behind a mask. And while you're healing, you're learning how to remove the mask and bring yourself out. This is not an easy experience for a lot of folks. Okay, so in healing, because I mostly do inner child healing, that your inner child is not ready. It is it for some, for some of you, it's easy peasy. I can talk to my inner child, it's fine. For others, it's like, no, you can't tell me to change a pattern. You can't tell me to change a belief. I don't believe you. I'm too scared for that. Okay. Because whatever situation that happened in early years was that strong and had that great of an impact on a nervous system. Like you just can't, in that moment, you cannot connect with your inner child in the way that you want to, but rather just be there and begin to build that trust. You're really building trust with yourself that you can actually be there for yourself. And so that repair was not from the narcissistic person. We have to keep in mind anything you're feeling within you has very little to do with the people outside of you. Okay? They're mirroring you. And the reason I say that is because that the narcissistic person treats probably treats everybody like that. You're like, oh, they're doing it to me. No, they're doing it to everybody. Okay, they're doing it to everybody because that's their trauma. Okay, so it's not that they're actually doing to you; they're living through their trauma. And when you can step away and say, okay, you know what? That's who they are. That's not me. That's not what I accept. And that kind of stuff, you can begin to break free from that person. My twin, oh no, I got laggy a little bit. I hope that doesn't happen again. All right, my twin hasn't speak to me in a year after I set boundaries, minding my own business now and not waiting for him to grow. Boundaries. We're talking about ego, right? I know this is gonna be new to you guys. You're gonna be like, Sheen says, get away from setting boundaries. Yes. And this is stuff that I learned through my own the help that I receive because I was all about boundaries, right? They need to honor boundaries. You see it everywhere. Everywhere is going to say that. So it's not any of our fault. But what boundaries do is they have the potential to manifest. If they do this to me, then I'll do this. You're putting it out in the universe. Do this to me, then I'll do this. Okay? Mm-mm. Boundaries sometimes can be like, well, I'm not going to tolerate that. They do that to me. Well, I'm out. I'm not, ego, ego. Anywhere where it's like it's them, not me. They're not stepping in this space. They're not going to take advantage of me. Now it's like this ghetto part of me comes out. And I'm not even from the hood or anything like that. But that's what it does with the boundaries. Oh, no, they've got to respect that. Feelings build connection. Okay. Your feelings build connection. I want you guys to remember that. You can feel when something's off. And you're going by that. You have a gut feeling. I always say, trust your gut feelings, guys. This is, after watching this video, if you tell me that I can't feel that way, then I'm going to tell you, watch the video again. Okay. You can have all of your feelings. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. Every single one of them, that gut feeling that comes in, begin to learn how to acknowledge it, notice it, and work with it. And when you communicate to someone who feels like they've stepped over your boundaries, right? If you want to call it that, it feels like something's off. My body does it. You can feel it in your body. My body is saying something is wrong here. Communicate that. Hey, when you did, you start with something nice. I'm big on the compliment sandwich. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your efforts. I love that you're around, because we're all walking around with trauma, right? Lots of us are. So the moment you're like, you didn't do something right, the defense walls come up, the suit and armor comes out, you're going into war. You don't want war. So you start with something nice, and then when you did this, you're being very specific, guys. Knock it out with, you always do this, you never do this. You being very specific about the situation. When you did this, it made me feel this way. Okay. And open up to hear what they have to say. That's the important part too. Sometimes we're just like, I'm gonna speak up, but let me cover myself. They're gonna say something. This is all nervous system repair. Gotta repair that so you're able to receive and allow the other person to connect with you. Boundaries do not build connection, feelings do. Okay. So I had to mention that. And so during that time, you might be like, well, I set boundaries and they ran. Okay. I relate. I relate. I understand. If I say something, something will happen. They're gonna whatever it is, talk back and so forth. This is again where I mention heal where you're not hearing yourself first. Okay. Because when we don't listen to ourselves, it is very difficult for a person outside of you to hear you because they are a mirror of what's going on inside of you. It's not twin flame relay. This is with everybody. You want people to start hearing you, you need to start hearing yourself, honoring yourself, and following through with yourself. Okay. And I'm not saying in this, I'm going to tell them I'm setting boundaries kind of way. It's not that. Your answer is inside of you. Everything's inside of you. You don't have to Google what to do. Everything is inside of you. Okay. This is the stuff that I help you with, is to find that in you, how you can handle difficult moments when they come up. The answer is in you. All right. And so twin flame is a narcissistic bond. No. You're asking all the good questions. I'm gonna be here like for a while. Answer your stuff. I feel like I gotta go through all that stuff that you've mentioned. All right. Everyone has dealt with a narcissistic once in their lives, a romantic partner, friend, or even a relative. I have a few in my family, and I just keep myself away from them. All right, we'll talk about this a little bit. So the narcissistic person. Let's talk about what narcissism is. And I'm not saying that your experience didn't feel like that. Okay, I would say we all have a little bit of it in ourselves, a little bit of it in ourselves. But the difference between us and someone who's narcissistic is that we are able to say, hey, I want to know more about me. I want to heal what it is that prevents me from forming a deep connection with someone. Okay, whereas a narcissistic person just feels like there's nothing wrong with them. Okay, so let's talk about that a little. The narcissistic person cannot connect emotionally on any level whatsoever. They have that missing factor where it's difficult to connect with people's emotions, and it's difficult for them to experience their own emotions and so forth. After leaving a long-term connection with one, it was like I gained a degree in narcissism. I joined so many narcissistic groups to heal from it because I didn't know what the stuff was. After 10 years, I came across a word and I was like, what is that? And entered so many groups which helped me heal and understand. And so you might find that narcissistic person watching a lot of TV because they're trying to understand humans. There is a level of disconnect. All right. And this person is grandiose. They have low self-esteem, but they cover it by appearing bigger than life. All right. And while doing that, they feed on their prey to help themselves feel big. Okay. Their prey, um, is that the word? Because and I know there's all these terminologies. They feed off of their fear and their weaknesses and all this kind of stuff so they can stay big. And they'll lie, gaslight, manipulate, belittle, put down, anything so that they're feeling good within themselves. All right. This is someone who's not going to change. You know, there's different types of narcissistic. There's the covert narc who does it through energy. They manipulate with energy more than they would talk. Okay, that was one I experienced. There's overt narc who's just overly expressive and they say all kinds of abusive things and all this kind of stuff. So there's a whole lot of different things that go into narcissism. It's not just someone who's expressing all the hateful words, you know. Maybe you were in a connection where you screamed at the top of your mouth and at the top of your lungs, and you threw all kinds of horrible words, you know, been there, you know, nervous system went totally crazy, and like you're destroying everybody because it's you get into the ego mind. This is not narcissism. This is a personality disorder. There is a difference there. Okay. And usually someone can take a step back and say, the moment you start pointing the finger, it's them, they're the problem. And you're like, okay, how did I contribute to this? How can I become a better person? And so this is usually what happens with twin flame. Because your twin flame is you. It's not someone separate. Okay. This is you. You share a soul. The moment you begin to look at those things in you, the changes start to happen in your twin flame too. Whether they're ready for it or not, the universe is going to do all kinds of craziness and be like, listen, you're keeping up. They're like, but I don't want to keep up. I don't care. This is the universe. I'm telling you, the universe will do all kinds of things. And then you get to the point where you're just like, I'm not winning. I'm not winning with the universe. That you cannot be on this healing journey and this person is left behind. Perhaps one goes through an experience before the other one does. I have noticed that where you might have been there already. Now your twin's going through it or vice versa, but it is never where they're left behind. With a narcissistic person, they're going to stay there. Maybe they'll improve a little bit because you're healing and we're all connected in some kind of way, but it wouldn't be to that degree where um, they change that much. Okay. I have met someone who used to be narcissistic and it really took medication and therapy to come out of it. And the way he described it to me was he has a good side and a bad side, and the good side was not winning. And that's when he knew something was wrong. He just could not really tap into that good side. Okay, so are we supposed to tell our twin flame how we feel? Yes. Okay. Now, I'm not saying go call them and be like, hi, this is how I feel about you. I'm talking about what you're feeling in this connection. Hey, I feel like there is a connection between us. I have some weird stuff going on, dreams and that kind of stuff that I felt I wanted to share with you. Okay. Because there is this idea, and you don't have to mention twin flames or we're supposed to be together or all this kind of stuff, because who knows where they're at. And some people do express it, and then their twin is like, I've been feeling the same way. That's great. Sometimes if there is still healing to be done in the connection, the twin flame is like, well, I don't agree. I don't think so. And moves along in their life, and the universe comes knocking at the door. Hello. And they're just like, okay, you won't go away. The universe won't go away. And they fall into their ego mind. Like this person won't get out of my mind. Like I can't. And they just go through a series of things. Okay. But it is not up to you to convince anyone of anything. And I will tell you this is what I noticed in this connection. You're hearing it from me, okay? And I want you to think back to your initial reaction, because a lot of times, and I went through it, I couldn't say anything. God forbid if I said anything. I was shaking. I could not say anything. That's ego and fear, whichever. Fear, maybe. Feeling like fear that tells lies. because they both tell you lies. They're not thinking the same. I'm crazy. They're not going to accept it and all this kind of stuff, right? Take a step back, and I want you to remember your initial reaction around that time, one of those moments, whether your twin had said something about the connection. If anyone can relate, please tell me, because usually when I bring this up, people are like, yeah, they said this to me, they said that, before you knew about the connection, your twin was already saying something about it. Okay. And then ego comes in. Oh, they have no clue. They don't know. They don't know what's going on. They can't feel it. I'm the only one who I feel like I'm crazy. I'm making this up. It is not one sided. Your connection is not one sided. Your twin is going through some things too. Okay. The universe doesn't give up on either one of you. So, hear her. Yes, it's crazy when you're beginning to elevate, they come. All right. They're just, it's you aligning with you, and they come into that alignment as well. It's just you. It's just you. All right. They come to test you, went through a narcissistic relationship years ago. He can't get to me now. Oh boy. Oh, he's you in some kind of way. And the reason I say that is because it really is not just your twin flame who's you. I mean, they're you because you share a soul, and it's just you. When you really interact with this person, you're going to see just how much you're thinking alike. The experiences you're going through in life are alike. So many things are alike, and you're living life in a parallel kind of way because they're just you mirroring aspects of yourself that helps you to get to your higher place, to a higher level. Okay. And all right, they weren't the only ones mirroring you or was an aspect of you. The people who come into your life are you in some kind of way, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's through your business, if you have a business at work, or they are you in some kind of way, showing you some aspect of yourself that perhaps you don't want to look at. You're not ready to. Let go of pointing the fingers and start to say, what is it in me that this experience is showing me about myself? What lesson do I need to learn about myself? How can I be in greater alignment so this stops showing up? Okay. And now you're probably like, Isheen, but I have to talk about it. Of course, you do. You will never hear me say, just heal inside of you and everything changes and that's it. Just inside of you and that's it, right? You have conversations with people in a way they can hear you. There's a way they can hear you. If you're not, if you're doing this wrong, oops, shut down. I can't hear you. What you, where perhaps you're telling them what they should think, do, say, feel. I feel this way. You should be feeling that way. Forget it. Nothing's going to accomplish in that kind of way. There is a particular way that you can explain your feelings. Okay. And then, oh, excuse me, because you're teaching others how you want to be treated. But here's the thing, if the change inside you has not taken place, whatever it is they're showing you, haven't done anything about it, they're going to show it to you again and again. And it's not just them, it's going to show up in another person, your coworker, it's going to show up in different places. This is why healing inside of you matters a lot. It matters so much. And then you can still have a conversation with them. Okay. All right. What happens when your twin sets boundaries? Again, not boundaries, feelings, but I get what you're trying to say. And I'm glad you brought this up. This is something I'm going to mention in my masterclass coming up when someone else is expressing their feelings. Okay. The thing that we tend to do is feel like they're not listening, we're under attack, this doesn't feel good, why can't they honor me, why don't they see me, all this kind of stuff happens when someone opens up and say, hey, I don't like being treated that way. It's like the sirens go off. Ah, attack, attack, attack. And then so we fight their boundaries. No, I don't think so. I don't agree with you. As how come you can't see me? No, that's not what's happening here. They are expressing their feelings. Okay? You've got to honor them, their feelings, or if you want to call it boundaries, for where they are. Just as much as you would want to feel heard and respected by others, so does your twin flame. And this is the thing. This is the thing with this connection. I'm telling you, it just constantly shows that fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. Your twin flame expresses some sort of limitation here. Like this doesn't work for me, and we feel rejected. Oh my God, they rejected me. Not happening. Okay. I recently gave this suggestion or this guidance to um one of my clients. What was it that I said? Hold on a second. Okay, who wanted to express her feelings. Okay, who wanted to feel heard. Obviously, first step, you're hearing yourself, but with a partner who is not hearing very clearly. Okay. You go within first, but this is what happens when you are expressing your feelings and the things that you would like or don't like to experience in a connection. It's because your intention is to be there. Okay. So it goes the other way. When your twin flame expresses their, what their, we'll just call it boundaries for now. It just feels easier. Their feelings, you know, it's because they want to work things out. Or maybe they're not ready. They're just not ready at that time, and you're crossing the line. Okay. When you keep trying to cross that line, you're not building connection, you're pushing the person away. You have to accept them from where they are. But when you are in a relationship and they're expressing things that are difficult for you to hear, like, oh, they're criticizing me. No, they're not. They are letting you know what they would like to experience in a connection so they can stay there. Okay. If a person you are connected with does not open up about what's going on inside of them, they don't want to be with you. They don't. They're probably planning an exit somewhere. Because when you talk about your feelings and the things that are going on with you, it's because you're trying to get to a resolution, to work things out with your partner, and they're doing the same with you too. All right. Narcissistic behaviors from spirits, when they are done using a host or a specific situation, they bounce to new people. That's why sometimes you attract the same person, different body. They do attract a lot of that. The narcissistic folks do attract the low energy spirits. Absolutely. And sometimes it just seems intentional too. So I'm honest about my feelings. Am I supposed to tell my twin flame how I feel? He only tells me telepathically, not in 3D. When you hide your feelings, guess who's hiding? And the connection feels off. Okay. You can have all of your feelings. There's nothing wrong with what you're feeling without judging your feelings. Let go of judging your feelings and let go of making up stories about how he's going to perceive it. It's how you feel. Hey, I'm just expressing how I feel. And I thought I should let you know. And that's it. And you accept wherever this person is at. You're not forcing anything. You have feelings. Your feelings are okay. And this is something I learned the hard way, right? Because the universe was just like, Isheen, you have to say something. I was like, I can't do that. The universe was like, Isheen, you have to say something. So here I am. I'm like shaking. And it just really got to the point that they were like, somebody has to crack this and stuff like that, right? So it's definitely something I had learned the hard way, and I teach it to you guys. And I had the wonderful opportunity of working with someone that helped me to do that. And so why my twin ignores and smiles, which I only see ha. He tells something and then asks, have you listened to the song? Why can't you be as natural? You might not like this, okay? Turn that question inward. Why can't you be natural? I'm sorry. I'm just letting you know. All right. When you listen to the things you say your twin is or is not doing, look for it inward because they are a reflection of what's going on with you. Not just them, the people around you are reflecting you. Is it ego or block or feelings? This is something that you get to know. Oh, okay, all right. I'll give you guys this information, okay? I'll give you guys this information. Your feelings are in your body. You can feel it. Your intuition is the first thing that comes. Hey, something doesn't feel right. Why does this feel like ego comes later on? So the more you sit on your intuition says, for example, your twin flame is yours. Okay. And you hear that message, you're like, my twin flame is mine. You're meant to be together. Then we are. Then the ego creeps in later. I don't think so. This is not true. Nope, that's not right. They're not calling, they're not here. If you can get really good at that initial message from the intuition and say, nope, I'm going to believe this. It's coming from inside of me. It's coming from soul. I'm closing out everything else and stop right there. You're getting closer and closer to your goals, whatever it is, whatever your intuition is telling you, you're getting there. The ego does come up in the same sentence, literally, maybe a sentence later, two sentences. When you don't sit in the intuition, the ego creeps up. Okay, that is something you practice, is believing yourself when it comes intuitively, and it's just a feeling that comes up. It's in your body, you can sense it. The ego is the mind. Okay, your feelings, you can feel it. Now blocks, there's not enough stuff out there on blocks. Okay, you think a blocks come out through the ego. It certainly does. You think a block can be like, oh, I'm just simply releasing a block. I'm releasing blocks. Oh no. Oh no. It comes through the ego, super strong. This is not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not going to have, if I spend this money, I'm gonna be broke. And all this stuff, right? Those are blocks being released from your body. And then we tend to say, I shouldn't feel that way. Let me try not to feel that way. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You got to heal what the ego is telling you, and that helps the block to pass. You've got to push yourself through the block. Let's say you're at the grocery stores. It's your last, I don't know, amount, dollar amount, and you really need to have this thing. And you're just like, I can't buy it because I'm going to be broke. I encourage you, I mean, you're going to go with your intuition to say, no, this is a block. Because when did I spend money and I didn't have? When did I spend money and we went without food for a long time, or I wind up living in the streets, or I no longer have my car, and that kind of stuff? It's all lies that something major is going to happen to you. This is a block being released. And when you can identify that and say, okay, I'm going to breathe my way through this, go ahead, swipe your card, pay for the thing, and keep practicing. This is nervous system repair. Now you're entering flow. And when you're in the flow, money just shows up. So it happened to me one time when I was like, I can't pay for this stuff. Then a light bulb went off and I was like, Sheen, you've always done okay with yourself. So I went ahead, did that, paid whatever it was. Next day, $500 landed in my account. These are blocks. When you're able to recognize like what's happening to you, that the ego, the blocks come through your ego. Okay. It's not a simple thing. It's a let me destroy, destroy, destroy type of thing. And you're like, I don't feel so good. Why do I have these thoughts? Well, there's a moment you can start to break these thoughts down. And that's what I teach in my masterclass. I'll put a link to it. Thought it would be ready, but it will. There is a moment you can tackle the ego. It is not when you're in that space. Okay? When the ego is just like, I'm destroying everything. I'm going to sabotage everything because I feel better when I know what's going on. Can't do anything. You can't do it when you're in that space. You can't convince anyone when they're in that space. Someone is in their ego. I highly encourage that you say, you know what? Learn how to walk away. Turn it off. All right. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised when you're able to do that. You might actually right away, once the ego, they'll say, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. But when a person is in their ego and they're just like, well, you're doing this, 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 and you're like, where are these lies coming from? So then you decide to go into war. How dare you? I'm not. Let me tell you, it is a war. It's war. You can say, listen, this is not a moment for me to talk to you right now. Okay? I'm going to step away. This requires healing, nervous system repair, being associated, being within your body. If you're disassociated, you don't see options. You see fight or flight, nothing in the middle. When you heal, you're able to see, I can walk away. I can tell them certain things in the moment and give it some time for the situation to de-escalate and then talk to them. All right. When someone's in that ego space, there is no convincing, not you, not them. When you're in your ego, you're going to be like, forget what the sheen says. Here comes suit and armor. Or maybe I should elevate it. I'm always saying suit and armor. No, I don't like guns. Okay, suit and armor. Here comes the suit and armor, right? And you're like, I don't care what she says right now. This is how I want to feel right now. Yeah, that's what the ego does. Okay, so just be in it. That's all you can do. Okay, and he acknowledged how much we have in common. He also got choked up when he tried to tell me about his dreams. All right, he's opening up. Look at that. I'm glad I caught the live. I scheduled a meeting with you and did not confirm on the calendar. It was totally my fault. I have been listening to you all day, my 20s in my life. Reschedule, definitely reschedule. I have a lot of available spaces next week. My calendar was filling up quickly at one point. Maybe perhaps after now it will. But please, please, I love hearing from you. To me, everyone matters, and you have definitely you feel a need to connect. Definitely get back on my calendar. Why is it that you have astral dreams where your twin is, and all of a sudden all that stops? I used to have astral dreams with him all the time. This is something I recommend going within and getting your answers that way. Okay. I'm not channeling at the moment. Sometimes spirits provide me with the answer to give to you, but you can certainly ask yourself and let the answers come on their own. Kimberly, that happened to me too. Why do I feel like I'm battling two twin flames? How can I be confused on who it is? This happens. This happens on the journey. I feel like while you're healing, the answers are going to get clearer and clearer for you. I don't talk about this much. Very rare. It's very rare that someone has more than one twin flame. It's not something you're going to hear me talking about because I don't want, people to start thinking, okay, maybe this one's my twin, maybe this one. It's an inner knowing. There's a feeling, a feeling of familiarity, like you've known this person before. Like there is that. There's different things that go into a twin flame connection. But as you heal, the messages get louder. You can even ask for confirmation, ask the universe to help you figure this out, and they will. They come and they go. Meditation helps them return. It is hard for me to share my feelings. I'm afraid. Intuitively, I feel he feels the same way. This is huge attraction, but I also feel I need my space at times. Lately, he has been constantly around. This requires healing, okay? Without your feelings, guys, without you being the truth, it makes the connection difficult. You definitely got to heal. If you have trouble expressing yourself and opening up and all this requires healing, because without doing that, you're running from yourself, and guess who mirrors that? And I'm not saying it as a manifestation. And it's not even, it has to be like running or something. This person seems hot and cold in some kind of way. This connection really needs your truth. Don't reach out to them and say, hey, here's my truth. Learn how to find your truth within yourself. And then it becomes mirrored. When you're able to express that, they can hear you because you can hear yourself. All right. And I want to open up. Okay. I want to open up after a year of almost no communication, but if he's not awake to the connection, feeling triggered, it will just be pushing him again, right? Mm-mm. If you missed that part where I said the divine masculine recognizes the connection first, and want you to go back to your initial reaction and think about something he had said, because he chances are he said something about the connection. Okay, this is not a journey about him; it's a journey about you. The twin flame journey is a journey of the divine feminine, and the masculines are, I don't want to say waiting, but the masculine can sense when the connection is ready and is not. Okay. And feeling triggered is, it does happen. It's a mirror. A lot of what goes on is a mirror, guys. It's a mirror. And I know it's hard to grasp. You're like, I don't think it is. And I have activities I do that help you to heal the mirror, heal the different things that are mirroring and the changes instant like that in your connection, because they really are just showing you you. All right. And hi, Kimberly. Um, Everyone else I didn't say hi to, hello, hello. What if spell work is being done on your twin flame? Reach out to me, okay? Because that is something that needs to be addressed. We are going to talk about the devil a little bit. So thank you so much, Asheen. It can be done. It won't last. Don't you have a Kundalini awakening when you meet your twin flame? Not everybody does. Some people have it before. Some people have it afterwards. I would say most people have it when they meet their twin flame. All right, Kimberly, I got my awakening Kundalini at the same time. My twin thought we were soul family. Okay, you're helping me see how afraid I've been. Maybe that's why he runs so hard and stays away, although we live 3 blocks away from each other. He's mirroring, definitely. And all right, so let's talk about the devil. Let's talk about the devil and the ego and all this kind of stuff, how all of this works. The devil seeks to destroy. Okay. Whatever the situation is, to destroy connections, to destroy you. And when you are in that negative mindset and you have a hard time breaking free from the ego, and so there's constant negative words being spoken, this is how the devil finds an entry. All right, so your ego isn't, well, it can be. No, I feel, hold on, it's like I'm hearing something. Okay. I'm getting interrupted here. And so all right, so the devil finds an entry through depression, low energy, negative energy, negative self-talk, whatever it is, those lower vibrational stuff. And when you hang on to all these negative words, here they come. Perfect playground. All right. And what the devil seeks to do is to ruin you from inside out. And so the more stories you tell, the more negative story, the more fueled it becomes. And it starts to take control of you, your mind, and whatever the case. And perhaps it comes out of the ego, like the destructive things that you say and all of this kind of stuff is driven by dark forces. Can be. It will be up to you to determine whether that is true for you. Okay? Because you can kind of sense it and be like, okay, why am I behaving this way? And if you're feeling like it's not really you. And there are other ways to be able to tell if someone is under the influence and that kind of stuff. This is what happens, and it's not twin flame related. When love is blossoming and growing, the devil hates that. When you're stepping into your power, let's say, and you're manifesting money, things are going really well. The devil hates that. All right. So you've got to get really good at identifying when the dark forces are trying to wreck what you're building. Get really good at noticing that. It's like, all right, for example, love is blossoming. And now all of a sudden, there's a particular person that wants to get with you. Okay. Mr. Prince Charming or beautiful, some beautiful queen suddenly comes in the picture and is like, hey, you look good. And then you start saying, oh my God, I have attention. That is one way. You got to be like, nope, nope, nope. I am on this path, this twin flame path. My intuition is telling me to hang on, hang in there, and that kind of stuff. It gets better. It's all up to you. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just saying what the devil can do to distract you from what you know and what God is building for you. And it's going to look so good and so tempting and that kind of stuff. Just a distractant. The devil loves when twin flames do not listen to themselves. All that dark forces, they love it. When you're not listening to yourself, it's perfect. Okay. And when you are listening to yourself, okay, let's steer this up a little bit. And the same thing happens with money. And this is what I teach when it comes to manifesting money. You feel like, all right, you're manifesting, you're clearing your blocks and you're in the flow, you're being in feminine energy, and now you get a bill that says you owe this much in debt and you need to pay it by, I don't know, in 2 weeks. And you're just like, "Oh, I'm not winning. Like, I just see these bills." All right. The devil, okay? That is how they're going to get to you. When that comes, when it looks like things aren't working well, you think you got this money figured out and something happens, whatever it is, begin to identify that there are dark forces. Let's not act like they don't exist. If you want to, that's fine. Mm-mm, I don't agree. And and then you get good at saying no, you're not winning. You're not winning. God wins. Okay. I'm gonna stick with God. This is all an illusion. This is a trick. I'm not falling for it. All right. And continue to stick with that. Now, when twin flames are in low energy, there's a lot of how do I say, low self-esteem, low, just being depression, severe depression, clinical depression, and all this kind of stuff. This is an opportunity for the dark forces. I don't want to elaborate because it has a soft spot. I do have a soft spot in that. Okay. And I didn't recognize this years ago when it was happening in my own connection. And I saw that I had a dream where I was surrounded with demons and I got terrified of the connection. And I said, I don't know what's going on, and just really walked away and stuff like that. It became too much for me. And then, which was selfish at the time. I truly get it. I say you only know what you knew at the time. That's all I knew at the time. And then years later, they tried. And it was kind of like I was sensing that interference coming in. And this time I knew. I was like, that's what happened. I didn't know that. You got to do some energy clearing work and all this kind of stuff. Got to clear your energy. I didn't know that. And then literally the next day, I met one of my business associates who specializes in this field. All right. And it wasn't a coincidence. And then he confirmed it. He said, yes, the devil tries to break up this connection. All right. Because when there's so much joy and bliss and the world is transforming, that is, nope, can't be like that. And this was something, you hear me talk about, shout out to Stefan Liver, sir. He said the same thing. I was like, oh, okay, that's my homeboy right there. I know I'm milking this thing. I'm milking this manifestation, right? And so then who said the same thing? And it was an eye opener when I heard that. I was like, this is what they do. But when you elevate yourself, you're raising your vibration, you're healing your negative thoughts. Don't push them away. Heal what they're showing you and commit daily. I'm being in my intuition, I'm being in soul. God, show me what to do. Lead me the way. I live through you. Or whatever it is that you need to say. Start your morning that way or something like that. It helps to combat those negative forces. And then I always say that when there's a particular person in your life who seems like they're under the influence in some kind of way, I always say it's not the person, it's the energy driving that person. It's always the energy, it is not the person. The narcissistic person, it's not them either. There's an energy driving them. Okay. And because of the mental condition of a narcissistic person, it's a playground for the devil, but it's a driving force. And then usually, I'll share this real quick and move on. I'm not going to stay around this topic any longer. When you take care of that driving force, the narcissistic person has a lesser influence on you. This is all spiritual healing, okay, which I really recommend. Don't ignore that stuff because that stuff exists. All right. And so I'm seeing the comments here. All right, so I see Heather was answering Soul's question. Anything about twin cycle for all right. Hold on one moment. All right, so with this ego inside us, how twin souls can transmute energy. With this ego inside us, join my masterclass. I will describe all of this, okay? How you can really begin to break that ego. It is a free masterclass. It's my gift to you guys, all right? I know, I feel like I was guided to make it free. And I'm like, it could have had a cost, but I was guided and I'm going with my guidance because I'm helping a lot of you guys through this, okay? And how about when addictions keep twin flames away from each other? We are both addicted to work. For me, it's like a way to escape my reality, to be working all the time. This is inner healing, all right? Your nervous system is used to working, 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 working. That's what feels safe. And your twin is going to mirror that work ethic, okay? You got to heal what's going on subconsciously and your nervous system. Heal your nervous system to understand that relaxation feels okay, feels safe. So it's probably and you can always let me know if it's not true. When you're in a moment of relaxation, it feels off. Something doesn't feel right. It feels like you need to be doing something. Okay? Nervous system, help it begin to feel something different to heal through that. Okay? So it's subconscious. Something's happening in your subconscious mind, your nervous system. Heal those, and it's like magic, and different things start to happen, other people start to help you, your manifesting becomes so much better that you don't feel like you need to work a lot because the universe is always supporting you. All these changes happen when you heal on that level. So I wonder if that's why Joseph Mengele was doing experiments on twin. Were they preparing for these times? I'm not familiar with him or his work, but it's something I will definitely look into. How to get rid of shopping. Haha. I felt it is some addiction or depression suppression. There you go. You feel. Anytime you're using the word feel, felt, that's your soul. This is inner knowing. Whatever you say after it is your truth. It's some addiction or depression, and it needs to be treated the same way. However, you heal addiction, addictive behavior is how to heal this one, and it's subconscious. Okay. All right. This is all the kind of stuff that I teach. I'm certainly not taking away from therapy. If you feel like you need to connect with a therapist, sure. I go into the root of the issue, because there is a root, it's coming from somewhere, and heal it from there, and your reality changes. All right. And I was addicted to shopping. I know how that feels. Lots of comments here. There you go. Yes, spell work. I've had even more confirmation of this at work and a couple of third parties. So obvious, glad I'm not the only one. You're definitely not. Reach out to me. All right. And I would love for my colleague to get in touch with you as well. Certainly connect. Wow, really free. That's amazing. Yes, it's free. My gift to you. Okay. And it's probably the only time you're gonna catch this stuff free. And I'm feeling so good and confident in my energy, but there's days that I can't move. I feel this big push to talk to him, but everyone tells me to not do it since he ran away twice in the past. I have a soft spot for runners. I really do. I really do. Okay. And you guys might be like, is she you're you're not on our team. Like, what do you mean you have a soft spot? Because I ran. Okay. I'll admit, but I was pushed. It wasn't that I just ran, I was energetically pushed away. Okay. Sometimes runners run because of the energy and things like those. And so one of the things that I had experienced and had worries about was that I did so much healing when I finally surrendered with the universe and was like, all right. And then I really learned about soul, being in my body, following my intuition, working together, learning how to stop running, how to stop being 1 foot in, 1 foot out when things got hard, nervous system repair. Okay. So much work, right? And then afterwards, it became, all right, is he going to accept me? There is this fear of, am I going to be accepted? Is he even going to answer? Is he, whatever the case, I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm going to give it my all. I'm not going to run from myself, because running is running from the self, right? Okay. My recommendation to you is to open up to the opportunity, the possibility that this person had done some healing. Okay. And to keep your heart open to learn about connection, learn how you may be pushing connection away, because we like to think it's just the runner. When our energy, depending on what we learned about relationships, what our trauma is around relationships, maybe someone had said all relationships are no good, they're all going to end. Maybe we don't have people around us who had really successful loving relationships, who role model that. So there was something in the energy that actually made this person feel like, maybe you're not that into me. You just never really know what was going on there. But let me see. You felt a big push to talk to him. That is your soul guiding you. Don't push it away. And if you do, use this as a learning experience. Why am I rejecting this connection? Why am I running from this connection? I know, I get it. He left a few times. There's something deeper going on that needs to be addressed. You can't really just talk yourself into it. There's something deeper going on there that needs healing. And when you heal that, it's likely he's not going to run away. Okay. Because there is a part of you that pushes away connection that you may not realize is going on. And I've been having these weird empty feeling. Oh, okay. May not be yours entirely. All right. You share feelings with each other. And so what about people getting tarot reads all the time on Twin Flame? This is a disconnect from intuition. All right. I am not against tarot readings. I do readings. I believe readings are a way to receive divine message, just like you do on your social media feed. The numbers, signs, synchronicities, you see feathers, places, all of this stuff are divine messages. And readers are living their mission, they're in their purpose, and they feel a calling to read. The really good readers out there, the ones who are doing it from their heart, that is their purpose. Now, when Someone is constantly going to terror. I need to know. I need to know. Can you read on this? Can you? There is a disconnect from their inner knowing. Okay. And whenever there's a disconnect, you're disconnected from yourself, your twin flame shows that. You've got to let that go. All right. If it's like a once in a while, I'm having a tough time trusting my intuition, you know, once in a while. Okay. Maybe. Do you need it? No. This is the thing that and believe me, to me it's healing. When I do a reading for someone because they ask for a reading, I'm part of their healing process. You know, the reading is going to offer guidance. It's not just, oh, this is what's happening with that person. It's going to help you in some kind of way on your journey, and it's up to you to assess the information. But what I find is when I do these readings, people are in other psychics do readings, people are like, you know what, that is so true. Oh my goodness, that was the greatest that reading was so good. And why was that reading good? It's because you know already. That's why. Because if you didn't know the information and it came up through this reading, you're going to be like, no, mm-mm, that's not true. No. But the reader is telling you something that your gut feeling has already told you. And that's why you resonate with a reading. So does it mean that you need it? Not really. If you like, you know, some sort of guidance through a reading, no problem. You know, you listen to it. But if it becomes a habit where you need to know every second of the moment, like what's going on, you're out of touch with your intuition. You're out of connection with yourself. You got to get back into your body and start listening to what's going on inside of you. Okay. All right. And last one here, probably. He already was running, and now his mom, oh, died New Year's Day. I'm so sorry to hear that. I feel so anxious to tell him how I feel. I know he feels the same. Take care of that anxiousness. If you're anxious, he's just you, mirroring you. Okay. This is where all this balancing your energy, being grounded in your body comes, and is super helpful. Once you do that, you can be around each other. But if you're anxious, he's not going to respond. Okay, because he's feeling anxious too. He'll pick up on that as if it's his energy, which it is. It's a shared energy. It's just you. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. And thanks for all of your comments. I love that you guys participated. Catch you next time. Bye.